Hello everybody, I am back from my vacation and I am going over the Anthony Hernandez versus Gregory Rodrigues fight night. Watching the UFC 330 numbered event was just like, what the fuck is even going on? Now I did predict Islam Makhachev correct, and I did pick Quillan Salkill correct. So 2-0 on the main fight on each card, but today I am excited for this fight night. I do think that there's some pretty good fights for a fight night, and I think that this is a pretty cool main fight, but I think it's very one-sided, me personally. Spoiler alert, I'm gonna twiddle on your pubes quickly. I do not think Gregory Rodrigues has any chance of winning this fight, but I'll go over that when we get there. So first fight of the early prelims is Terrence Chapman versus Anthony Witt. If you see me looking over here, it's because I have some shit written down. Okay, Terrence Chapman versus Anthony Witt. I'm going to keep this like pretty simple. Anthony Witt is going to win. He's a fucking beast. Boom. Easy first fight. Mauricio Barboza versus Ryan. Mauricio Barboza is an insane finisher. Has solid hands and will put your lights out. He KO'd Dennis Bezuche in round 1 in his UFC debut. So this is his second fight in the UFC. Ryan Kus, this is his UFC debut, and he's fighting Mauricio Barboza. And I personally don't think he has any chance of winning. I think Mauricio Barboza is going to probably finish him. It's going to be a fun striking fight, but I think that this is a terrible debut fight for this Ryan guy. Mauricio Barboza is very explosive, and I definitely see like a KO happening this fight. Or, the fight not going the distance, whatever. Mauricio Barboza could sub him, but yeah, I have Mauricio Barboza to win that fight. Chanel Dyer versus Elise Reed. Chanel Dyer's one loss was on the Contender Series, and her last win was Oliveira by KO in round 2. This Elise Reed has a choppy win-loss record where it's pretty back and forth, and has 9 fights in the UFC. She gets knocked out by anyone with any power and subbed pretty easily. So I have Chanel Dyer to easy win, probably by KO. For a woman fighter, she has fairly good power, and I think Elise Reed doesn't have a chin, so I think she's going to get KO'd. But yeah, Chanel Dyer win. So this is kind of the start of the prelims here, because these are the first 3 kind of, they're good fights, but lower end. And then we got Jamal Emmers versus Leron Douglas. Jamal Emmers is super off and on in the UFC. I mean, ever since he's gone to the UFC, it's been pretty like win-loss. Super back and forth record. He recently beat Gabriel Miranda by KO and Hyder ML by decision. Leron Douglas had his last fight debut against Julian Erosa by round 1 KO. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He has looked super good, and I don't see him losing to Jamal Emmers. Douglas winning by KO or winning in general, I don't see him getting his 6-fight win streak stopped by Jamal Emmers. I think he can go a little bit farther than that. Gage Young is 2-1 in the UFC, beating Mahashat and Moises. Lost to Evan Edler, but is a decision warrior. He does have some sneaky KOs in his early fights that Joe Rogan and DC will be glazing. Yeah, I mean, he has like a streak, I'm pretty sure, of KOs in like his early pro fights. I'm sure DC is gonna be like, he has the fucking power, man. He's got the power. I don't think he has the power. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I think that he just kind of like beats up his opponents. Stan Dorsonville is making his UFC debut, but has lots of submission wins in LFA and other organizations. I have Stan winning by probably submission or decision. I think this could be a really close fight. I don't think that Gage Young is a super bad fighter. I just think that the Stan guy has a lot more impressive resume with like how many finishes he has, and I think he'll be able to, UFC debuts, they gotta be locked. They gotta be locked. You don't want to lose your UFC debut. Like Anthony Hernandez, but we'll talk about that later. Chris Padilla versus Nasrat. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Nasrat has lots of UFC experience. After losing to King Green, he went on a winning spree, beat Esteban Ribovics, but then got slimed out by Quillan Salkill. But I mean, like, who hasn't? Chris Padilla is a good finish artist. He beat Ismail Bonfim and had a draw decision against Marquel Medeiros. I personally think that Chris Padilla is going to win, probably by decision, but this is kind of a silly fight. I mean, they're both like been in the UFC for quite a bit. I think this is just, I forget if they've both won their last fights, but I think this is just seeing who has like the potential to, keep on going. But yeah, I have Chris Padilla to win. Now, dude, we have like the fucking long hair brawl here. Like, I don't know what the shit's going on, but these guys both just have like the most beautiful hair in the UFC, and then they have them fighting, which is kind of funny. I'm I'm like completely mesmerized by this image. This is awesome sauce. It's like we have fucking Tarzan fighting like Prince or something. Anyway, Wes Schultz versus Jackson McVeigh. Wes Schultz has one loss and one win in the UFC. A loss to Damian Pinas. I mean, that's not a bad loss. Damian Pinas is a big ass dude. Big ass hands, you know what I'm saying? And a win over Ben Johnson. Wes has been super active this year. He's been fighting like crazy. Jackson McVeigh beat Sendrike Dumas his last fight, but lost to Zach Reese and Bruno Ferreira. I'm taking Wes Schultz personally to win a hard fight, but I see him taking control on the ground. I do believe Wes Schultz is. Oh no, he's a little bit. No, yeah, he's a little bit the underdog. I think that's beautiful value. Me personally, I do not think that Wes Schultz is a bad fighter. Yeah, I can see this fight being really, really close and a hard one to judge, but I do think that Wes Schultz is going to win by control. Starting off on the main card, we have Kennedy. Not even going to try to pronounce that. Sorry, but maybe I am. Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Shamil Gaziev. Mouth dropped while he's fighting. Looks like an absolute zombie. I don't like it. I think it's very strange, but Shamil Gaziev just lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta and Brando Periquet, but I don't think that those are awful losses. He still has that KO power, obviously. Like he just fucking swings and just prays to like Lord Jesus that he hits their chin. Kennedy lost to Walter Walker and had a draw against Marcus Bucheche. Also has lots of KOs and finishes. Now, this one is a tough fight to pick in my opinion, but I do have Shamil Gaziev to win. But if it goes to like late round 2 and 3, I think Shamil is going to just be like blobbing around, gassed out. So honestly, I don't really know about this fight. Kennedy looks a lot more in shape for heavyweight, but if Shamil Gaziev gets that, hit on him, it's lights out. Like we have to remember when this guy was like, what was it, 14-1? He lost to like Waldo Cortez Acosta. Like that's not a bad loss. I don't know. I'm picking Shamil Gaziev. Next fight we have Carly Judas versus Jess Shaves. Carly Judas on a 3-win UFC streak. Why did I word it like that? Carly Judas on a 3-fight win streak in the UFC beat Juliana Miller last fight. Good striker, not great ground game. Jess Shaves 7-win streak. Last fight was her debut against Eunice Duben. I feel like for the value, Jess Shaves is a good shout. Carly Judas will probably win, but Jess Shaves is why I fucking misspelled everything on here. Like what the fuck? Is an aggressive striker, and for the value, it could happen. Why I say that? Because she's plus 400, and she is an aggressive striker, and I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So I think I'm gonna try to take a little underdog nip here on Jess Shaves. Maybe I need to do more like studying a film, but no, like I really don't think it's a bad shout. So that's my pick. Marquel Medeiros versus Mason Jones. I'm actually excited for this fight. Marquel Medeiros is undefeated in the UFC with 4 fights, 3 wins and 1 draw. He beat Mark Chonsky by decision and drew against Chris Padilla. He is a straightforward striker with 6 KO wins. Mason Jones has 3 wins in the UFC. Notable win against Axel Sola. He's another striker, but he has some ground game, 3 sub wins. I have 3 sub wins. I have Mason Jones winning by decision or KO TKO. I think that a win over Axel Sola is just like pretty good. Like that already shows that you're definitely like UFC caliber. Marquel Medeiros, like I don't know, he just doesn't. I guess I don't know. I haven't seen his ground game too much, but he's definitely a striker. Like, that's his main gig. So, yeah, Mason Jones is my pick. Then we have the flopper himself, Rainer the Riddler Diddler. He started off his UFC career super strong, beating guys like Kevin Holland, Bo Nickel, and Bobby Knuckles Whitaker. He recently went on a 2-loss streak against Brandon Allen and Caio Barallo. He's a Caio Barallo. I think that's fucking how you say it. He's a weird long sub artist, very strange human, and has weird lips. Yeah, he's kind of just like I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's a very strange looking guy when he's fighting. I'm not gonna lie. Roman Dalids is primarily a striker, 8 KO wins. He has won against Kevin Holland and Marvin Vettori, but lost to Anthony Hernandez and Christian Leroy Duncan. Those losses aren't too bad. You know what I mean? Those guys are high level guys. I do believe that this is almost a comeback fight for RDR. Yeah, I think he'll win by decision. Might be a tough fight, maybe sub. I don't think that he's a bad fighter. I think that I don't know. It was a weird fight against Caio. Sergey Spivak versus Vitor Petrino. Let's take a second to look at this heavyweight guy. Vitor Petrino. He's chiseled. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, holy fuck. I was watching these fights. I was fucking drooling all over my keyboard. Sergey Spivak has lost to guys like Waldo Cortez Acosta, Tom Aspinall, and Cyril Gahn, but those are not bad losses. He has a recent win against Ante Delija. Spivak is a good striker and wrestler, all-around fighter. He's pretty good everywhere that he goes. Vitor Petrino is on a 3-win streak, but has questionable losses to Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacoby. I think he's super strong and technical, but I think that Sergey Spivak is going to win this one, and the lines are good for Spivak too. He's the underdog. I think that he's going to go out there and, probably win a possible KO decision. Yeah, Vitor Petrino is fucking jacked. Like, I see that. Trust me. Like, I understand. But I see Sergey Spivak winning this fight. Boom. Last fight. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. Now, let's just get this straight. Actually, I'll read what I have put written down here. Anthony Hernandez has an impressive UFC resume. Lost his debut and lost to Kevin Holland early in his career, but then went on a huge 8-winning streak. Then he got KO'd by Strickland. Well, TKO'd by Strickland. Which didn't end up looking too bad for Fluffy if we really crunch the numbers, because Strickland did go to beat Khamzat Chimaev. Seeing that Strickland, yeah. Now, Gregory Rodrigues is a huge power hands fighter with no gas tank. I have put money on this asshole and watched him drop Jared Cannonier and absolutely dominate for the first round. This is what I was going to talk about. He completely dominated for the first round. I'm laying in my bed like, we about to get rich, we about to get rich, we about to get rich. And then he completely lost all of his stamina and got just TK'd, I'm pretty sure, in the second round. And the only chance that RoboCop wins is if he KOs Fluffy in the first round. Let's be completely honest here. If RoboCop doesn't go out there and just put his lights out in the first round, he loses the fight. He's not gonna win after the first round. He did recently win a decision. I don't fully remember that fight. I didn't rewatch it, but chocolat. This guy's old. How old is he? I don't know, but he's old. And Anthony Hernandez is a great fighter. He got stopped by Strickland, but so did Khamzat Chimaev. And I'm sure the next time Khamzat Chimaev fights, we're not going to be like, he's fucking ass because he lost Strickland. No, Anthony Hernandez is going to win this fight, and I don't actually think that it's going to be that close at all. I have him here winning by decision, but honestly, he could win by TKO hands, I don't know, but all I know is Anthony Hernandez is winning this fight. And those are my picks. If you want to tell, you can. I just give my opinion. This isn't professional advice. I'm not a professional. I do this for fun and because I love UFC and I want to learn the fighters more. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. And we have a pretty stacked schedule coming up. After UFC 330, that was complete dog shit. Well, it wasn't dog shit, but Mackenzie Dern and Jillian Robertson as the fucking co-main event. Are we serious? No ranked fights after that or before that. Not a single one. What? Nurmagomedov versus Song. I am extremely excited for this card. So I'll be giving my predictions on this. Obviously, the rest of the cards I don't have anything coming up, so I'm making videos. Dan Hooker versus Parnes. This is new, but Axel Sola's on here. Venom Page is on here. Then we have Noche UFC. Come on. Rodriguez versus Silver. We have Yair Rodriguez versus John Silver. Silva. I am so excited for this card. We have Brandon Moreno, Tommy McMillan against Rahiki. This is sick. Waldo Cortez Acosta, come on now, against Curtis Blades. Come on, don't play with the kid. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.